Sepultura frontman Derrick Green is opening up about his former drummer Eloy Casagrande's unceremonious departure from the band. You recall back in February, amid a huge wave of speculation about who the new drummer of Slipknot would be, a shocking statement from Sepultura was released claiming that Eloy had abandoned them just days before rehearsals were set to begin for their upcoming farewell tour. Fortunately, they were able to quickly recruit drummer Grayson Recruitment, who's very talented as well. But in a new interview, Derrick Green says that it was surreal to have learned that Eloy had left the band. On February 27th, Sepultura released a surprising statement. They wrote in part, "Beginning of December, the group clearly defined the intention at the announcement. It is conscious and planned death. As poetic as it sounds, a tour of this magnitude took nearly a year of preparing and planning, which would require a lot of commitment, ethics, and loyalty to their fans, as well as respecting for the band's history, something that is a clear priority for the other members. However, on February 6th, a few days prior to the first rehearsal, drummer Eloy Casagrande informed the band that he was leaving Sepultura to pursue a career in another project. The band were taken by surprise. Without prior warning, he immediately left the band, abandoning everything related to Sepultura. Luckily, American virtuoso Grayson Recruitment will take the position of Eloy Casagrande and is welcomed as the band's new drummer for the Celebrating Life Through Death farewell tour. In a statement of his own at the time, Eloy alluded to the situation. He said in part, "Maybe for the band's fans it doesn't make sense at this point, but decisions needed to be made. Thinking about new cycles that will come. We are made of choices and they are not always easy. My departure will never erase my respect and gratitude to the band. There's a lot to come and I hope to continue making a lot of music and art. See you on the road." Now this situation was very similar to when Jay Weinberg joined Slipknot in the past, with his former bandmates criticizing him for leaving. They didn't have any notice. They weren't happy with the way the situation was handled. And so shortly after this statement came out, we would learn that Eloy had in fact joined Slipknot, and he's been getting great reviews from his performances out there. I mean, it's obviously he's a very, very good drummer, and so he's fitting right in with Slipknot. But in this new podcast appearance from Derrick Green, he says it was surreal to learn that his drummer was leaving the band such a short time before that farewell tour. In a new episode of the One Life, One Chance with Toby Morse podcast, Sepultura frontman Derrick Green opened up about the departure of Eloy Casagrande back in February. He said, "We had already announced that we're going to do a farewell tour. It was in December that we announced it. And so then I think it was February we started playing shows. And so it was like, Andreas calls me, like, yeah, we're going to do rehearsals. It's all set. Everybody's in line. You'll come down to Brazil and then we'll rehearse a few days and then we'll start the tour." And I was like, great. Literally waking up, packing my shit. I think I was flying out literally the next day to start rehearsals. Andreas calls me and is like, "Yo." I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "He's out." I was like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about? Who's out?" And then he was just like, "Yeah, Eloy's out." And I was just kind of like falling in a black hole. Like, what are you talking about? It was totally surreal. It was like literally in slow motion. I was just trying to get my breath. And he explained everything. Eloy wanted a meeting with everybody in the band and with the managers and everything. And I wasn't there. But he came in and it was just like, I'm doing this gig. I signed a contract and I'm out. And I was just trying to get my head around it because it'd been 13 years playing with this guy. And I was just really in shock. I was like, dude, what are we going to do? And we've been in this position where it's just like so crazy changes. I'm sure when Max left, Andreas was in that position. Like, what are we going to do? He continued, "It wouldn't be my first time of total chaos. I'm on the phone with him. He's like, my son showed me a video of Grayson." I was like, "Grayson? He's in Suicidal." "Yeah, I just saw the show." And he's like, "I was thinking of maybe calling him." I was like, "Yeah, call him up. Call him up to see what's up with him." I was like, "You should call him immediately." He's like, "I am. I'm going to get his number. I'm going to call him up. See what's up. Just to see what's up." I was like, "He's playing with Suicidal. Maybe he has some off dates." And we're just like panicking because we had no clue what to do. We weren't expecting this at all. And it's a difficult situation for both parties because even if you think about Eloy, he has this once in a lifetime opportunity to become the drummer of Slipknot. Meanwhile, his current band is about to head out on their farewell tour. Eloy's very young. He has a very promising career ahead of him. So I think ultimately he had to do what was best for him. But at the same time, you've got to be able to understand the frustrations and concerns of the members of Sepultura, where they don't have a drummer so soon before that farewell tour. And thankfully, they were able to get a drummer of the caliber of Grayson to step in and play those songs. So it ultimately worked out, but it was a stressful deal for them to deal with. And, you know, people are critical of Slipknot for the way it all went down, but I also think that it's one of those things where if you really tell anybody, it's probably going to get out. So they have to maybe go to extreme lengths to keep things under wraps. But that is the Sepultura side of things. And again, fortunately, all parties involved have been able to go in their separate directions and everything is worked out. And Grayson is an amazing drummer. And it's interesting how things played out because you had obviously Jay Weinberg leave Slipknot. You have Eloy Casagrande leaving Sepultura. Grayson then leaves Suicidal Tendencies to go to Sepultura, and then Jay Weinberg ends up in Suicidal Tendencies. So it was really this shuffling of these three very, very talented drummers. Anyhow, that's your latest update from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates.